I'm John from Game Life Balance US, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. And get ready, because geekiness commences in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This is show number 130, discussing the Daredevil season premiere. Bang! This show's recorded on Wednesday, June 15th, 2016. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Daredevil Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage on Netflix and the general Marvel comic universe.
Because of Foggy's biker skills.
If you'd like to talk to us about Foggy's biker skills or your own biker skills, you can contact us at our website, legendsofshield.com. You can get a hold of us at our voicemail, 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871. You can find us at our Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr, all at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. You can find us at our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GonnaGeek, and you can find our network at GonnaGeek.com.
This time on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we're going to be talking about our next giveaway, the Marvel Collector Core Crate Women of Power. We're going to be talking about the Season 2 premiere of Daredevil, the weekly Marvel news, your feedback, and highlights from our live chat room. Lauren, we've been talking about this for the last few podcasts, and I need to hand it off to you because Michelle doesn't know what we're doing yet. But basically, we have this great Marvel Collector Core crate called Women of Power that we're ready to give away, right?
Yes, we do. And to win this super awesome Marvel Collector crate, what you need to do in honor of Women of Power is gender swap a male character that has appeared in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to a female character. And not only that, let us know who you would cast. And you have to have your entry in by July 20th, 2016.
That's right. We'll be giving it away on our live show that night, just like we're doing now, our live stream show via whatever means that we can stream it at. But www.geeks.live, you can find us at. So, Michelle, now that you know what we're talking about, I can see the wheels turning in your head. I can see the thoughts start to formulate. You don't have to commit to anything right now, but just in general, what are like the top male characters in the MCU that you're just starting to think about?
It'd be cool to see a female Captain America.
It would. You know, I once saw a great Haley Atwell picture of her, photoshopped, of course, but in the Captain America suit. So that
I've seen that picture. It's amazing.
That was cool. That was cool. So that could be one. So that's what we're talking about. Take any character in the MCU, and in the MCU. Now, I guess we can talk about some X-Men. I guess we can talk about Spider-Man because Spider-Man's in the MCU. I guess we can talk about Deadpool, but we really want to stay within the Marvel MCU and just talk about who you would like to switch over and then who you would cast, just like I did. Haley Atwell, Captain America. That would be cool. All right. We do have our first entry, Lauren, don't we?
Yes, we do. And it's pretty awesome. Our friend Johnny at Born to Eat Bacon on Twitter said, I'm throwing Hawkeye into the gender bender machine and Bridget Regan gets the part, who, you know, we might know best as Dottie from Agent Carter.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm picturing that now. Bridget Regan has the moves and snarky delivery to be perfect. Plus, her and ScarJo, that would be amazing.
It would. So, and she's got the build for an archer, too. You know, long arms, tall. I mean, that is something in archery. You don't have to be tall. and you don't have to have a tremendous amount of strength.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner is not like terribly tall.
No, but it does help, and I think that's a great cast. I think Born to Eat Bacon is onto something. So if you have something is equally as good as a Haley Atwell as Captain America or Bridget Regan as Hawkeye, you can definitely let us know. It doesn't have to be, by the way, somebody that's currently in the MCU, female, to be cast in the role. It could be somebody outside. I don't care. It could be Wonder Woman. I don't care who it is. Just cast somebody who would play it outside or inside the MCU. Any established actor, anybody that we would know, anybody that would fit the bill, anybody that we would go, oh, that would be so cool, because that is what is going to get you to the top of the list for this highly coveted Marvel's Collector Core Crate, Women of Power. Let's get on to the main event. Now we are back on after we completed our Jessica Jones season 1 watch. We've completed the season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We've gone through the beginning summer Marvel cinematic releases. Now it's time to get on to the summer fun of Daredevil season 2, just like we did season 1 last year. We're going to start off with a bang, and with the episode called Bang. It was directed by Phil Abraham, who has 31 total directing credits to his name. Of note, just take a look at this list. This guy is all over the place. 3 Halt and Catch Fires, 6 Orange is the New Blacks, 4 Daredevils, 15 Mad Men's, a Following, an Elementary, an episode of Weeds, an episode of The Walking Dead, The Good Wife, Sons of Anarchy, which is oddly appropriate for this episode, Breaking Bad, and The Sopranos, another one that's appropriate for this episode. So this guy is on target for this episode. And then it was written by a pair, Douglas Petrie, who has 14 total writing credits to his name. Defenders, which is not out yet, but he's credited with it. 7 Daredevils, 2, and I'm putting this in there for our friend Kier, 2 of the American Horror Stories, the 4400, a couple of episodes, and my favorite, 17 Buffy the Vampire Slayers. So this guy's not only an author or a writer or a scripter, he's also a producer of such great series as The Defenders, Daredevil, American Horror Story, Charlie's Angels, Pushing Daisy, CSI True Calling, and, of course, my favorite, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It was co-written by Marco Ramirez, who has writing credits very similar to Douglas. 1 of The Defenders, 6 Daredevils, 1 Fear the Walking Dead, 2 Orange is the New Black, and 3 Sons of Anarchy. He's also producer of, get this, The Defenders, Daredevil, Fear the Walking Dead, and Da Vinci's Demon. So very established cadre of folks that has taken the helm for this wonderful season 2 premiere, right, Lauren?
Yes, very, very much so. And I'm looking at some of the episodes that Doug Petrie and Marco Ramirez have written for a bunch of other shows. And I'm just looking through, I'm like, oh, I liked that episode. I liked that episode. And also I'm getting reminded that Orange is the New Black is back this weekend. And I'm like, oh my God, when am I going to have time to watch it? There's so much going on.
There's so much going on everywhere.
But behind, I have to watch it.
Behind in everything. I still have to see the season finale of Archer. I just haven't had time to do it because Lauren's been having me produce so many podcasts. And there's just a bunch of other stuff on there as well. Top Gear, the new Top Gear is on. I mean, I could go left and right of stuff that's still on my DVR. But Michelle, did you like this episode?
Yes, I did.
And this is your first time watching it, correct?
Yes, there was so much going on when it first came out, and I'm like, it's Netflix. It's going to be there. They're not going to take it away, so I can just watch it when I have more time, and I have more time now. So please don't spoil it completely for me.
We won't. I was actually with you the weekend that it came out. Do you remember that weekend? It was C2E2.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why
Oh, that's forever ago.
we didn't have time to do that. We did that podcast panel on Friday. We did the rest of the weekend. We caught the Supergirl panel on Sunday. We caught the Battlestar Galactica panel on Sunday. It was a fun weekend, but there was travel back into Chicago. There were all the panels that we either were on or were going to. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to catch up for a while on this, but I did watch it in its entirety shortly after that. This was my second time through, but I gotta say, I didn't remember much about it until I started watching the episode. I didn't even remember what the title meant. Bang. Lauren, tell me what the title meant.
Lots of sex. No, that's not what it meant at all. I broke it.
You did. That was awesome. Was not expecting that. This is like the third time this week that you've done that to me. What does the title mean?
Again, it's at the very end of the episode when, Frank Castle and Daredevil meet up and they're fighting and, they're punching and and then of course, Frank Castle, being Frank Castle, pulls out a gun and shoots Daredevil.
Point blank range headshot. Bang.
Yeah.
And he says.
And says it.
Bang. So that's where the title comes from. Bang. It's like, where's the title fit in? Where's the title fit in? It's the very last scene. Bang. All right. So we begin New York. This is post season 1. Wilson Fisk has been in jail. The Japanese have been taken care of. The Chinese have been taken care of. The Russians have been taken care of. New York should be fine, right?
Yeah, now we have like the Irish mob and they're like, okay, now is our time to give this big rousing speech. And if I've learned one thing from my years and years and years of consuming media, you never give a big rousing speech. Never.
It's kind of like monologuing. It's
like asking for trouble. You're asking, you're begging for trouble. Definitely
are. So I have a problem with the scene that the Irish mob gets taken away. They all just stand, of course, they're all sitting down in very constrained space and a big long table, and they're all kind of sideways to wherever the fire is incoming from, but they all stand up and fire back. I'm guessing that they just don't have any true tactical experience, because what a bad play. What an entirely bad play. Although I don't think it would have mattered if they were to crouch behind the bar at all either, because like the big hole in the neck, all the way through. Wow.
It's pride.
You think so?
They thought yeah. I mean, they're wanting to come back. They think they're, on the verge of something big. And so, they're being attacked. And so they think they can just stand up and take care of it because they think that's the type of people they are. Some of them are wearing body armor as well. So there's that too. So I guess a couple of them thought they would be protected anyway, but they didn't realize just how powerful the bullets were. But I think that's probably it. It's just pride.
Plus, they fall prey to tropes because, okay, I pointed this out in the very first scene when Daredevil is fighting and then, the police show up and they're just like, wow, where'd that guy go? And he's standing on the roof. And it's like, look, I know you're wearing kind of dark colors and I know nobody ever thinks to look up, but you're just standing there. I mean, it's a bright night out. It's New York, so there's lights everywhere. So people are going to be able to see you in outline and everything. I'm just saying crouch down and peek over is all I'm saying. You minimize your chance of being seen. But no, he has to stand there and pose because it's a comic book show. And because this is, right here we have moved into a mob movie. It's the mob movie thing where, somebody shoots at you, you stand up and you start shooting back. You don't run for cover. It's like, you watch any, movie about like prohibition or anything, that's what they start doing. And yeah, it doesn't turn out well because they're going up against a guy who does not do that at all.
The city is protected by Daredevil. He's a superhero. He's not an out of the lanes vigilante. New York loves this guy. New York is all in with this guy. So
But that doesn't mean that he shouldn't, he's supposed to be in the shadows. So be in the shadows. Don't just stand there. I mean, you're inviting people to take pot shots at you. I'm just saying.
You gotta let the guy show off the costume. I mean, the costume is pretty. It looks great. We only
I know it's just for TV show and everything, but I mean, it's one of those things that drives me crazy.
Oh, I agree. He's just standing there like,
he's
look
like,
at me. Yeah, superhero pose. And yeah, I thought it was interesting how with that trope, like you knew that the guy's talking, he was going to kill somebody. And I thought it was great. Like the moment he was going to take the swing, he gets shot.
Yes.
I thought that was really good timing.
I loved that. You have this moment very, Al Capone in The Untouchables, and it's right the minute before he takes the baseball bat and starts beating the guy with it. And then somebody just shoots him in the neck.
All the way through. Yep, that's it. These bullets are very powerful. A lot of great firepower. So there was the slaughter, but there was also the fight at the very beginning with Daredevil running after the guys with briefcases and taking that one poor woman hostage and then taking care of them in the church. There was that fight. There was a Daredevil and Turk, which that's no match. None at all. None whatsoever. So Turk, no, go home. You're drunk and your finger's broken. So go home. And your keys are in the Hudson. So there you go. And there was the Punisher and Daredevil fight. So we didn't see an epic like hallway fight. It was just kind of initial sparring matches in this one, as far as I was concerned. Yeah, there was some heavy action, but it was short-lived and there wasn't some great resolution to it, but it was still good fighting. And the last fight between Daredevil and the Punisher, I just kept thinking, those two guys, or stuntmen, and Stephen Amell and his stuntman, I would like to see that fight. I just would. I kind of like to see that fight. Yes, I did cross the streams, but I mean, we're talking the actors. We're talking Stephen Amell.
Well, technically there was that time in, I think it was the 90s, that Amalgam Comics was a thing, and it was like crossing over, DC and Marvel, and it was like Lobo and Wolverine were the same person, and I think it was like Batman and I can't remember who was crossed with Batman.
Daredevil?
No.
I don't know.
Green
but
Arrow?
Yeah, you had,
Green Arrow?
No, I want to say Green Arrow was with Hawkeye. They were the same person. Now I got to look this up.
Okay. So there.
I'm probably not going to mention it again. I just want to know for my own benefit.
Okay. So there have been crossovers before, but the fights, Michelle, describe your reaction to the fights, please.
The opening sequence reminded me a lot of Batman, like when the cop was about to get shot and then all of a sudden the guy's just like taken off screen and then beaten up. It's like, oh, that's so Batman. And is it just me, or in the film version of Daredevil, wasn't there a fight in the church in that one?
Yes, there was at the very end. It was Daredevil and Bullseye. That's
what I thought. See, and I thought that was interesting. And then, that final scene, that was brutal. And I like the fact that the Punisher, because it's another thing. It's like Pride, I think, is established here. The mob guys were, trying to defend themselves out of Pride. And then Daredevil is kind of like a little cocky, like after he, takes care of the big business at the beginning, he's up there, he smiles. And then I think he thinks he can just come in and just take care of this random guy who's shooting everybody up. And then like, he can't. And so I like the way that fight ended.
Yeah. That he seriously underestimated who he was going up against, just because, he's so used to, ever since Kingpin's gone, probably, he's just been going up against these, random normal people. And then there's this guy. Yep.
And whoops, not the normal thing. So he's got to brush up on some of his skills. And
apparently the Amalgam version comics of Daredevil was also crossed with DC's Deathstroke. So,
oh, that would make sense, actually. Yeah. So we also see this current status of Nelson and Murdoch. They're back together. They're practicing law. We've got Karen Page working there still, but they're dead broke. They're working for bananas and pastries. And I'm just kind of wondering how Foggy is subsidizing his nightlife that he's boasting about, because he's got no cash to do it with.
Maybe he has money left over from his student loans or something.
He's been having to repay those back for about a year now. Maybe he's defaulting on them. Who knows? But yeah, that's cool. Although it's good that they're around, because the lone survivor from the Irish mob attack seeks them out because he just needs a little faith.
yeah. So also that guy is a character in Marvel Comics who, if I read that wiki right, is still alive.
Oh, really? Nice.
Mm-hmm. Currently alive in 616 Marvel.
Is his name Grotto or Steve
Grotto.
Schaefer?
Grotto.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. Karen swooping in, saving the day again, saying, look, you're Steve Schaefer. I'm Isabel Schaefer. We've been married for 6 wonderful years, even though you have a hot Irish temper. So shut up and sit down.
Yeah. Karen is... I love Karen this season. Michelle, no spoilers, but you have so much to look forward to if you're a Karen fan. Like, she is amazing this season. And this episode is just sort of the kickoff of that.
Yep.
Good.
They really do bring her character a lot more forward than they did last season. And they were able to build upon everything. Like the fact that she has the car in this first episode and things like that.
All the stuff that she learned from Ben in season 1.
Yep, pretty much.
Just like all the stuff that, you saw her, kind of dealing with and everything like that. And you see it starting to pay off. And here is when you see her being able to think on her feet really well.
She's definitely good with that. What was your favorite Karen moment of the episode, Michelle?
Probably when she realized that the guy was coming for her and, Grotto, and she, was able to get him out, and she pulled the fire alarm on her way out.
Mm-hmm.
And she remembered exactly where she parked her car.
Yes. Who does that? I can't.
Especially not in New York when you're parking on the street. You could be like 10 streets away or something like that. But no, she does it. That's great.
If I don't park in exactly the same area when I go grocery shopping, I'm not finding my car.
Well, that's why do you have one of those fobs with the horn thing on it?
Yeah. No, I walk out. The second I walk out, I'm just like, click, 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 click. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I?
Let me give you a little scientific tip to help you with the extended reach of your fob. Put it up right under your chin, right there. Contact, press the button. That will expand the reach of the signal.
Fillings or what?
Your body's electromagnetic field.
Oh.
So it works. It extends it a little bit at least. And, if you don't know where your car is, maybe 2 cars over is going to work for you. I don't know.
I am going to have to try this.
Mm-hmm. I don't think she had a key fob for that. I think it was just keys. I think it was an older model sedan, though.
Yeah.
All right. Foggy. He's working the Playboy life, he's swinging around, and he has so much bravado, he takes on a biker gang. What?
Oh, poor little.
I love
duckling.
Foggy. I love Foggy. Foggy, I am Team Foggy.
Yes. Him and Karen are like my 2 favorite characters in this whole show. Bless them. They try so hard.
They are. So you see a little twinge of jealousy with Foggy when Karen is helping Matt with the pool.
I don't know if it's jealousy or concern. He really likes them as the 3 musketeers. And sometimes if 2 of the musketeers hook up and then it doesn't work out, then the chemistry and the camaraderie of the 3 musketeers can be damaged.
And especially because he knew Matt in college, where, from what I gather, I definitely in the comics and sort of hinted at in the show, he was a bit of a womanizer. I mean, there was we see a bit more about his love life in future episodes, but he knows, like, okay, if this ends, it could end really badly.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus there's also the fact, and I think this is the more pressing issue, that Matt hasn't told Karen, which, okay, do you guys think this is a good idea or a bad idea? Because I think it's a stupid idea.
Not to let her know or to tell her?
Not to let her know.
Yeah, I think totally she should be let in right now. They should completely trust her after what happened before. But let's not forget, she has a secret too, and that's what happened at the end of season 1, and which leads into her entire past, which is cloaked. And so they're both playing a quid pro quo right now, and they have to get to a point where that comes in. And I think that's just creative license for the show, that they have to get together to the point where they show one side and the other side shows theirs. And I think that's what they're working for right now. You know, just not giving anything away. I just watching this episode, that's what I would think. But I think it's a stupid idea. It reminds me of all the crap, and I'm going to cross the streams again, but this is a perfect illustration. All the crap that happens over on Arrow when one character has this great secret from everybody else and it causes strife, and then somebody eventually dies because of it. I think that's what's going on right here.
Yeah, you see this again and again and again in superhero media. And it's like, dude, you work with her, you just, okay, I hate the whole, oh, I can't tell you for your own good thing. It's one thing when it's like, okay, I'm going to take Spider-Man as an example. He has no money. He has, you know, a very vulnerable old to varying degrees, depending on the media. And he's very, very vulnerable to, recourse from his enemies, from his lots and lots of enemies.
I'm just pointing out
really
that I picked up the Amazing Spider-Man number 14 issue today. It was part of my file poll list. And this Peter Parker, not poor, lots of money.
No, this one, this Peter Parker is basically Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, what we're seeing with Daredevil, with Matt Murdock and Foggy and Karen, is they're very close knit. Matt doesn't have any family. Foggy is really close to Matt, and Karen, from what we see, does not have any family. So it's like, really, if you want to protect her, just tell her. That way, you know, she knows to look out for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing more harm by not telling somebody about this, you know, especially somebody you're going to be working really closely with.
Right.
Or dating.
Right. And I see that if it's part of the close circle, I can definitely see letting the secret out. But if it's like Arrow and everybody in the city knows it, except for like a person that's close to your team, like Detective Lance or whatever, that's something else entirely. So, but the city, New York, does not know that Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Nobody knows. I think Wilson Fisk might be the only one that knows.
Yeah.
And even then, yeah. So I think it's a difficult decision that has to be made. And I think it should have been made already. But that's just my 2 cents. So
I think Matt Murdock is being dumb.
True. Now, they would have to show it on screen, though. I don't think that's something that you show off screen in between season 1 and season 2. I think that's something that has to, you know, it's a definite moment that you have to show. Yeah,
but I still think he's like, oh no, I'm not going to tell her. I need to protect her. No, just it's stupid, and it's stupid reasoning, and just bugs me so bad.
I mean, look at the relationship with Foggy and the strife that those two went through in season 1 for Matt to finally tell Foggy what was going on, and now look at them where Foggy's walking Matt to work. He notices he's got blood on the back of his neck, and he helps him out with it and that sort of thing. I think that.
He's like, oh, I don't want her to be worried about me. Oh, but it's less worrying for her to assume that he's an alcoholic.
I know.
Blind and an alcoholic. I mean, they spend a lot of time at Josie's bar. I mean, look at that tab. That tab's got to be a gazillion miles long, right?
Probably.
Especially if they don't drink the water.
Don't drink the water at Josie's bar, and then don't expect air conditioning either. So let's move on to our friend Brett, the detective Brett, or Sergeant Brett, I guess, in this case. And he helps our boys out, but he doesn't do so willingly. He he has to get drug along a little bit, and then finally, reluctantly, gives them some. It's good seeing him back. It's good having that connection with the police force, at least one person that they could trust.
Yeah, it was good seeing him again.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting how, Matt used his little hearing thing to work in their advantage.
Right. So all in all, I did enjoy the episode. It moved the story along. It brought me back into the Daredevil world. It brought me back into New York. It brought me back into the fact that we're building up to a new big bad villain. And this, I would say, and unfortunately I can't say too much, but there's a little bit going on in the first 4 or 5 episodes, which is slightly off from the rest of the series. So Michelle, as you watch on, just keep in mind that there might be a switch at some point in time, but this was a good lead into the series, in my opinion. Lauren, having watched it, same thing?
Yes, very much so.
Michelle, having not watched it, what do you think?
I think it was a good, I like how they didn't spend too much time trying to sum up what happened last season or anything. There was just a drop of, Fisk is gone. You guys took care of Fisk. Now there's this whole other problem. And then, and it's like, I had to stop myself from immediately going into the next episode. So,
Yeah.
it did like hook me like that. It was like, no, I don't want to get the episodes confused. I do want to watch them one a week. But yeah, it had me going. It was suspenseful. I kind of wish it's one of those things that because of casting, I already knew that the guy was the Punisher, but he had a great introduction. Like they found the frozen guy, who was still alive, and he's like, no, not them,
we
him.
didn't talk about that.
Oh my God.
And then it cuts straight to these feet in the hospital. So it's like, that it's like, oh, it's one guy and he's in the hospital. That means Karen's in trouble. And then you just see, and then it cuts to his face and everything. And I thought that was a really cool way to introduce him.
Yeah, I remember the first time I watched this, that scene in the meat house where the guy is still alive. That was, and then.
Yeah, okay. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Never seen it.
Okay,
It's not on
there
the
is a
list.
scene very much like that. A guy gets hung up on. Well, in the original movie, it's a girl. In the remake, it's a guy gets hung up on their shoulder on a meat hook, and that scene just gives me nightmares. So when this happened, I was just like, again.
I know it's very. I was just going to bring up. It's very similar to Albert at the end of Jessica Jones. Of what happened to him. It's like, oh my, I can't believe you are still alive. And I can't believe that they're actually showing this. Once again, this is Netflix. This is not network TV. This is not even the big screen. They can do some weird stuff in a Netflix series that they can't do in either of those two venues. I mean, Marvel, I don't think is ready to go to the rated R version in the cinematic universe. And they can't show that sort of stuff on prime time on the ABC or even.
I don't know. They can show some pretty hardcore stuff on the Blacklist.
Well, okay, but I don't.
And Hannibal.
Maybe they are going.
I mean,
there
we had an entire corpse pole on Hannibal, and then there's the part where the people were all sewn together, and the guy pulled himself off of the corpse pile, and that part gave me ugh.
Okay, haven't seen it again.
Oh,
not
and then the guy
on
with
the
the cello.
list. All right. So
I know, sorry, Lauren and I are just sharing Hannibal moments.
Yeah, they got the cello and they got the mushroom and the guy with the bees. And
should I just call up Wing? He'll be right here. He'll talk Hannibal for you all the time. Okay. Anything else in the episode we haven't talked about, Michelle? Yes. What?
There was something I wanted to bring up about about Frank Castle. How when you see him, it's like watching the Terminator or a zombie or just this he's like the way they film him. He's like this implacable force of nature, and I loved that.
He could definitely pull off a Terminator.
Yeah, it's such a wonderful, chilling introduction, and there's so much more I want to talk about, but it falls under spoiler category.
I know. We'll get there. We got 12 more episodes.
But yes, just it was such a perfect introduction. And then I remember when they announced, they cast John Bernthal as the Punisher. I was like, this is perfect because I loved like the first 2 seasons of Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm. Shane was an incredible character to watch.
Yes, yeah, and he's incredible as Frank Castle.
Michelle, any last things?
I think it was brave of Foggy to go try to find information at the biker bar. I know that doesn't seem on the surface, but that was a members only biker club of a biker gang who's into various activities. So for him to go, hey, I know one of you, and to try to get some information, that's, and he went in there as himself, just as the lawyer Foggy with his little briefcase, no armor, no nothing. It's just him and his brain and his emotion. Like he actually was able to go, hey, I helped this person, I helped this other person. And it's like, he was able to connect with that guy with like, I helped this guy. And he's like, okay. Yeah. helped Pope. All right. So I think that was a great sequence.
I loved when he was just throwing out names. You're like, okay, what about this guy? What about this guy?
He's done a lot of defense attorney stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Last call? All right. Hey, if you like talk like this, we are part of a geeky network. There's a ton of other podcasts out there on the network to talk geeky stuff, just like Nerd Alert News. And let me tell you, Chris is doing a fantastic job with that podcast. This week, he is throwing out a daily episode because of E3, and he is covering E3. He's not actually there covering E3, but he's reviewing everything that's happened at E3. And that's what he does at Nerd Alert News. He covers everything, he summarizes everything, and then gives his take. It's a wonderful podcast to listen to. I could give you a specific episode to go listen to, but really he's doing like 4 or 5 this week. So just go check that out. Go to nerdalertnews.com and check out all of the E3 coverage, or you can also hit it up at gonnageek.com. For those of you new to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we now go into a segment where we run down the weekly news in the Marvel sphere. And our first story has to do with a little Spider-Man casting. Right, Lauren?
Yes, it does. We've had a couple of really good casting decisions. The first one is Donald Glover, who people might know from Community and a bunch of other stuff, but kind of primarily from Community. And a few years ago, there was this whole thing of, hey, Donald Glover would be a great Spider-Man. And that was kind of what launched the Miles Morales character, was Brian Michael Bendis being like, we should have a black Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And so while we're not getting Miles Morales, we are getting Donald Glover. So, and another casting announcement is Kenneth Choi joining Spider-Man. Kenneth Choi, you might know as Jim Morita from Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not currently known who he's going to be playing, but we're pretty sure it's going to be the principal at Peter Parker's high school.
This is so cool. So cool. I'm totally bought in to the Spider-Man universe right now in Sony because of what happened in Civil War. If you have seen Civil War and you don't go see Spider-Man when it comes out, you are just not an intelligent human being.
Wait a minute. Now, maybe among geeks, but okay, my mom and I, we love to go see movies and everything. And at the end of Civil War, she saw that thing about Spider-Man coming back, and she looked at me and she went, "Are you serious?" And you have to realize this is like the third. And so she's got Spider-Man fatigue. So
I can totally get that.
Marvel's got some work to do when it comes to Spider-Man. This little thing in Civil War is not going to be enough for people like my mom who are just general fans of these things. Because she's just like, she feels frustrated that she didn't get a resolution to the Andrew Garfield storyline. And then she's like, now there's a new one. And so she's just like, you do not know how fantastic this film has to be for me to even think about seeing it on cable. So she's, yeah.
I totally get that. My husband he does not like Spider-Man. This Peter Parker got him like kind of interested. So
Okay, let's
yeah.
be real. I'm not interested in Peter Parker. I'm interested in Aunt May. Let's get more Aunt May.
I'm so there for Tony Stark and Aunt May flirting while Peter Parker makes faces in the background.
Like,
that's what I'm here for.
What are you doing, Mr. Stark? No. Ooh, ah. Yeah, I could see that.
He walks in and makes just like a sad face emoji.
The next news item that we have, though, goes to another Marvel Cinematic Universe film, Thor Ragnarok. And apparently, we're going to dance around a little bit different main character of Thor and Loki.
Yeah. So Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth were at Wizard World, I think Wizard World Philadelphia. And somebody put this on YouTube, and they're talking about how they said that tonally it's a big shift in a great way, and it's a very different Thor. It's a different Loki. We go off in another world that we haven't experienced before. This doesn't surprise me because Taika Waititi, he's mostly like, he does a lot of comedy. He's done some, serious movies, but most of what I know him for is this amazing vampire movie called What We Do in the Shadows. Even if you don't like vampires, this movie is just, I love it. I love it so much. It's one of my favorites. I will watch it every time it's on HBO. I saw it in the theaters a few years ago. It's like the best vampire movie ever, in my opinion. And he plays one of the vampires, and he also directed it. And so I'm looking forward to seeing like that kind of comedic sensibility brought to Thor, because let's face it, alien gods are kind of an outlandish concept to begin with.
Just a little bit.
So I'm looking forward to seeing the absurdity in that situation. And there's also, some talk about Hulk in there. Hiddleston notes that the last time Loki and Hulk were in the same room, things didn't go very well for Loki. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing that. And they could talk about, elements of Planet Hulk and stuff like that. So it's a nice little interview, and it has me really looking forward to Thor Ragnarok.
Michelle, are you looking forward to Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah, especially since I know Loki's going to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the reason why I like the first Thor movie and stuff. So, hey.
I like Jane Foster. I did, but I'm not going to be entirely sad to not see her in this film because I'm going
to miss Darcy.
I was going to bring that up. I'm going to miss Darcy very, very much. And if you want to see her, go watch Two Broke Girls, which will be on again in the fall.
There's a movie, I want to say it's Charlie Bartlett or something, where Robert Downey Jr. is in it and Kat Dennings is in it, and the guy that plays Chekhov in the new Star Trek is in it. And Robert Downey Jr. plays one of their dads. I'm not sure which one of their dads, but
I just can't imagine Robert Downey Jr. as my dad. I really can't. He's just so in person and in character. He's just bigger than life. And I'd be like,
dude has kids though.
What? I know. All right. So going over to E3, we have our own little niche of Marvel news coming out of that. And apparently PS4 has some news for Marvel.
Yeah. A Spider-Man game for the PlayStation 4 was announced at E3 a couple days ago. The trailer for it is out on YouTube. We're going to include a link to it. And most of what I've seen reaction-wise is people complaining about the Spider-Man costume.
Go figure. Because that's the only important part of the game is the costume.
Well, it does have a big white spider on it. Like the chest part of it's white. So in this case, I can kind of see because it kind of looked like a beacon. Like, here I am.
Big white beacon. Right? Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay. I have sad face a little bit because I got this I was suckered in to buying this great PS4 version with the Darth Vader on it, right? What is the only game that I have bought for it, which actually came in the bundle? Star Wars Battlefront.
Okay,
So,
Dragon Age Inquisition is on sale right now for $6. Go buy it and thank me.
digital or hard copy?
Yes, for PS4. Right now, digital, PS4
Okay,
store.
as soon as we're done, I'll go do it.
Now, go,
All right.
now, go.
I love Dragon Age.
I'm replaying Inquisition for the 3rd time right now. I have to romance all the characters.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Romancing the guy, the male elf. Oh, what's his name? Solus. Oh, that's tough.
I know. That's going to be my next playthrough, because right now, okay, my current playthrough, I'm playing it through like super devout, and my next playthrough, all the games are going to be like the worst ending possible. Like, I'm going to like be the one to sacrifice myself against the archdemon in the first one. I'm going to romance Anders in the second one. I'm going to romance Solus in the third one.
Now, I have both an Xbox One and a PS4, but for this case, listener, if you have an exciting PS4 game that's relatively cheap, because I'm cheap, go ahead and hit us up with what you would recommend, and we look forward to hearing what you have to say. Now, we do have one last, and unfortunately, it's a serious news point here, and apparently Marvel's just got a problem, and we've talked about it before.
Yeah, we've discussed this several times in the past about Marvel's. Okay, IO9 has an article called "Marvel's Got an Asian Problem and It's Not Getting Any Better." We've talked about this with regards to Tilda Swinton's casting as the Asian, as the Asian. Well, yeah, the character is supposed to be Asian as the Ancient One in Doctor Strange. And the latest case of this is Spider-Man Homecoming. It was announced that there's going to be a character based off of Genki Lee from the Miles Morales comic, who is Spider-Man's, pudgy Korean-American best friend. And instead, they're going to be casting this white kid named, what's his name? Michael Barbieri, who's also going to be playing Jake Chambers in the Dark Tower movies. The reports claim that the character is based on Genki, but it's like, really, first, you're just throwing us a bone here. You're just taking the character completely out of the equation. And there's also the fact that in, let's say, Daredevil right now, last season we had the, generic evil Asian characters. And this season there's also generic evil Asian characters. And in Doctor Strange, it's generic Asian hand-wavy faux mysticism. And the thing is that it's, it's very much a product of like, the 1960s, 1970s fetishization of, Orientalism and stuff like that. And it's like, we really should be kind of past this.
It's 2016.
I mean, on the one hand,
folks.
it's like, yeah, ninjas are cool and stuff. But on the other hand, there's so many other stereotypes and like really harmful stereotypes that go along with a lot of this, that it's like, you really got to actually think about what you're writing. And I think one way that they could actually do this is diversify the writer's room, because I can't tell you how many times that somebody throws out an idea that they just never thought of. And I'm like, ooh, that's not good, either because I'm a woman or because I'm Hispanic. And it's just not a point of view that they'd considered.
And once again, folks, even though Haley's not here right now, Lauren and Haley are available for your writing rooms and story ideas and one shots and that sort of stuff. So hit them up, legendsofshield.com, and we can get that taken care of. But I don't want to take.
We really are. If I like you, I will work for beer.
Michelle, you haven't had a chance to say anything yet. What do you think?
I'm just, one of the things though, yes, this is a continuing problem. And one of the things I was really disappointed that they didn't take a chance on casting someone who was not a white male for Doctor Strange. We live in this worldwide culture. There are plenty of male actors who appeal across millions and across whatever than Benedict Cumberbatch. But we do have a problem. And for all the awfulness that the internet can be, one of the good things is that we can continually talk about this again and again. And it's awful that we still have to talk about this again and again. But at least with this platform, we can keep the fire going. We can just keep going forward and keep just, here's an example. Here's another example. Here's another example. This is something you could do. This is something you could do. And hopefully one day we don't have to have this conversation. Of course, I mean, my grandmother taught me how to be a feminist, and I'm still having to fight her fight. And hopefully,
yeah.
Hopefully, one day we don't have to keep fighting this fight, but I'm willing to keep fighting.
One thing, this is not Marvel related, but one thing that really has me scratching my head is that Doctor Who, the BBC, does not want to even entertain putting in a female Doctor Who. And I'm like, really? What is wrong with that? I see it as a good thing. I see Missy came along lately, and she was a wonderful addition. I think they could have an equally important Doctor Who character to play across from Missy, or, you know, whoever. I don't know if Missy will be coming back or not, but I think that the time is right to start doing some of this stuff. And this casting news that Marvel has, and this obvious issue, because it's not just one isolated incident, it's several in a row. It's like, well, guys, I mean, what really is your motivations? What do you got going on? Now, that said, they have made strides forward. I mean, we're getting the Black Panther movie. So
yeah, I'm not willing to attribute this to maliciousness. A lot of times it's just ignorance. It's just, you know, somebody said something they didn't think. There's this brilliant episode of Parks and Recreation when they're like, okay, we really want to address, you know, diversity in the workplace. We really want to put more women in charge of stuff. And they get a meeting and there's no women on it just because they didn't even think.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on some situations like that. And it's just like, what if you don't actively make yourself think about this stuff, then a lot of times you don't consider it. Right. And this is, I mean, we are in the, I've seen it referred to as the year of our Beyonce 2016. We should be thinking about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
We live in an age where we are all connected via the internet. It's harder than ever to just kind of close your eyes and pretend that, you know, you're not connected to everybody else. Just take the extra second and think.
Right.
And again, I'm just as guilty of that as everyone else. There's, you know, occasionally I'll do something and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't think about how that sounded. But the point is, you know, make a good faith effort. Come on, Marvel. I expect better of you. You're my company.
It's like turning the Titanic, though, because it's going to take a while for them to do anything. Like, they were just recently talking about a Black Widow movie finally, which we're all for. And it's just going to be a little bit different film than your average superhero film, which is fine. They've done stuff like that before. They diverged before. Guardians of the Galaxy is a great example. It wasn't just the Avengers sort of film. Winter Soldier was a great example of something that was more a governmental spy coup. So there are some great things like that, but it's going to take some time. And unfortunately, with the 24-hour media cycle that we have now, every time something like this comes up, Michelle, you're right. We're going to keep on having to point it out to them until they finally get it. And you mentioned something, diversity, which is very important. It's not just diversity in race or gender. It's also diversity of thought, which is very important to bring forward, because you could have all sorts of different people in the room with different ethnicities, with different genders, and they could all think the same way. But so you have to bring in diversity of thought as well. So that's my 2 cents on it. All right. Are you ladies ready to move on, or do you have any last parting shots?
Ready.
All right. We got some great feedback this week, as we normally do, and I want to say first and foremost, thank you very much to our own consultant, Black Adam, who can be heard on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition, which recently released episode 45 on the Star Wars Day comics release. Yes, a little bit behind, but we'll get caught up soon. Anyway, Lauren, what does Black Adam have to say for us?
Well, he retweeted something at us, and it's really awesome. It's a picture from Collectors Corps, their Twitter account. A few months ago, we talked about how we were going to be getting a Pop Funko figure of Quake.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, all we had was the concept art for it. Now we have an actual picture. It's going to be released in August, and I can't wait. So thank you for that.
Looks good, doesn't it, Michelle?
Yeah, it does actually. I really like her shield uniform and such. It's a good job.
And the gauntlets, the armbands and everything. I think, yeah, it's pretty cool. And then we also got hit up with the same thing with Born to Eat Bacon. He also wanted to make sure that we saw it, and we got back to him and we said, yeah, sure. Actually, Black Adam already took care of it. And he's like, oh, awesome. So there you go. So we also got another hit up recently by our pal, our friend of the cast, Mr. Paracletes. And let me tell you, Mr. Paracletes had some awesome to give us, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was a like this little image thing. It's Star Wars, and it says, to the window, to the mall, all these people fall. This droid looks like a ball. It's losing something without the pictures, but it's really good.
It is pretty cool, and it actually got a lot of reaction. So if you haven't caught that up, you can look in our show notes for the link, or you can go to Mr. Paraclete's Twitter account, and you can go ahead and find that. Also, Lauren, you live tweet whatever we're watching Tuesday nights at, is it 8 p.m. Central, right?
Yes, I do.
And so you were live tweeting last night, and another friend of the podcast got into the act with you, and his name is Ferris, goes by @DXFerris. And what did he have to say?
He said, here's the thing. Don't that leather armor suit get hot? I know he's a boxer and can deal with it, but... And yeah, I agree with him. I mean, later on, they're like, yeah, there's no air conditioner, and it's like 108 degrees out here. And I'm like, he's got to get heat stroke. Daredevil has to get heat stroke at some point.
Every time I wear my leather combat outfit out at night, it just, I have to make sure I put the baby powder in between the suit and my skin in order for it to work. Otherwise,
I mean, look, I live in Houston where it gets to like 100 some degrees, 100% humidity. I wear jeans outside and I'm dying. So hell no, I'm not wearing leather body armor.
God, I bet it smells.
Oh my God, I know. It's
How do you clean it?
Oh no, Daredevil's coming. Everybody run the other way. And he comes, he's like, how did they find me, guys?
It's not like he showers often. It's not like he has air conditioning or showers. So yeah, you can.
He has this like that foot spray that you use for your sneakers, and just sprays that on the inside of the whole suit, just covers it in Febreze.
Yeah, because
floral scented Daredevil.
Yeah, he can't take that to the dry cleaners.
No, he can't. Do you think
there's a superhero dry cleaners? Have you not watched Venture Brothers? There's a superhero tailor and dry cleaners.
Well, we know there's a superhero tailor. Maybe he offers a dry cleaning service now.
Maybe just changes it out.
As their numbers climb, he's gonna be doing brisk business.
That's right. Just like in Arrow with Windows, you could have a nice dry cleaning business going on for superhero costumes. Absolutely, especially with S.H.I.E.L.D.
Do you think he has more than one? Because you'd want to switch out, wear one while the other one's being cleaned. No?
Spoilers. So let's move on.
Spoilers. There's an episode where Daredevil has to do his laundry.
And the suit gets mixed in with the purples or something. Yeah, that's right. So moving on, we also got a great tweet by Peter Lloyd. He goes by @Enlight Bystand, which has got to be short for like enlightened bystander or something like that. Anyway, he says, by the way, on your X-Men Apocalypse, this is me adding some ad lib here because it's well beyond 140 characters. But by the way, on your X-Men Apocalypse podcast, on Stryker using heli, not jet, arrived within 10 minutes, so must have been near the school waiting for an excuse. Yeah, absolutely. With a helicopter, you got to be close because you got to start that thing up. You got to get it in the air. It takes a while, so he must have been close. And because he was so close, I'm kind of surprised that Professor X didn't know he was close.
Yeah, well, I guess they were kind of busy.
I guess so. Absolutely. So, Michelle, Black Adam also got to us with another tweet, didn't he?
Yes, he something about the voices of Marvel.
Okay, so there's a podcast called the Women of Marvel podcast. And on one of the latest ones, Chelsea Kane announced her Civil War II story, which is featuring Jessica Jones. She's going to be doing an 8-page comic for Civil War II Choosing Sides #6. It's an anthology series. And so I really wanted to give Civil War II a skip just because I'm really not liking the direction that it's going. But if it's Jessica Jones, I mean, I might have to pick it up.
Is it better than the first time around? Like there's no otherworldly parallel, like weird prison thing? Because then that got so weird. Because the first time around, it was so obvious who was right and who was wrong.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons that I've gone on record as having to like the movie better, because they were, a lot more, both sides were understandable.
Yes, I'm holding up all my Civil War II comics that I scored today at the store. Amazing Spider-Man 1, X-Men 1, Nova 8, Civil War #2, the big one, and Civil War II International Iron Man #4. So Civil War II is in full swing right now with Marvel this summer. And the last tweet that we got was from our friend Ferris, who will be joining us in a future episode as we go through Daredevil. And he said to us, "Hey guys, here's my lyrics for the Daredevil title music." Hold on. Here's my lyrics for the Daredevil title music. First draft. And Lauren, do you want to try to sing to this? Because I just don't have the melody in my head.
I can't even remember the Daredevil theme song.
Yeah. Daredevil, 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 Daredevil. He's Daredevil. And Ferris, let me throw this out to you, buddy. Either record you singing that and we'll play it on the podcast, or we'll have to wait for you to be on the podcast and then you can sing it for us. And I will... Or, you can have your daughters sing it or your wife, or maybe the whole family. Maybe you can get the Ferris family together for a Ferris family Daredevil title singing. That would be awesome. I think that we're all now anticipating the Ferris Daredevil song. All right, Lauren, we have one last thing to talk about in feedback. Andy gave us his feedback via email again. So what did he have to say?
All right. He says, I remember Stephen Estonite confirming to me during season 1 that there are still water towers in New York, but this opening shot is just ridiculous.
I know. I'm thinking, I had no idea New York had so many water towers. I mean, I've never been there, so I don't...
Cooling towers and water towers, they're all over the place, yeah.
Turk, the arms dealer from the last season, is already out. Didn't the FBI catch him with during the classical music montage at the end of season 1? I think the fact that he's out is supposed to be like indicative of how much time has passed.
Well, there's a little bit of that, plus there's only so much that they can do. Listen, the law enforcement of New York City is kind of decimated a little bit and will continue to degrade in this season, as we will see.
Karen's car. Wait, did she take Wesley's after she shot him?
No, it wasn't Wesley's. It was Ben's.
Yeah.
It was Ben's car.
Better choice for Daredevil and Shane meeting earlier. For me, season 1 finale with Daredevil confronting Fisk at the end was the weakest fight and weakest episode. Yeah, I have to agree. I like them meeting like right at the beginning, and their interplay between the rest of the season just worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, okay, season opener, 7 out of 10. Bang bang, he shot me down. Bang bang, I hit the ground. Which
is from Kill Bill Volume 1 opening track.
Technically, it's a Nancy Sinatra song.
There you go. It's now time to walk this one out. SP Manners SP. Andy, thank you very much for your feedback. We look forward to hearing from you. As a matter of fact, I already have his feedback for episode 2, so we are looking forward to your feedback in the future. Join us next week as we discuss Daredevil Season 2, Episode 2, Dogs to a Gunfight. And we will be joined in studio by special guest Lobster. Yes, the Lobster is coming back to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., and we look forward to having him on next week. You can always find our live streams Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central at www.geeks.live. I never quite know where we're going to be from week to week. We're kind of in a period of transition and flux, so that's where to catch our live feeds. We do have a website, legendsofs.com, that will take you to our page on our network, which is gonnageek.com. We have a voicemail line, and I love to hear your voicemails. I know Lauren loves to hear your voicemails. Haley loves to hear your voicemails. And Michelle told me before we got on the air that voicemails to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. are her favorite part of the show.
Absolutely.
And you can catch us at 844-THE-BUS-1 or 844-843-2871. I missed the bus. We do have a Twitter account, a Tumblr account, a Facebook account. Search for Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. And usually we'll try to live stream this podcast on Facebook Live, and we will just see how that goes. It's brand new, so who knows if it's going to be around a long time or not, but we will definitely keep that going if we can. And don't forget, if you need to catch us audio only, I do send out a stream via Spreaker, which is still available until I actually release the published podcasts. The next show on Gonna Geek on geeks.live will be Starling Tribune. It will be 9 p.m. tomorrow night. That's 9 p.m. Thursdays. And during the summer, Starling Tribune is going through a watch of Legends of Tomorrow. Friday nights is better podcasting, and Sunday morning is all things good and nerdy. We've got almost all 7 days wrapped up because Gonna Geek is on Monday and Game Life Balance US is on Tuesday. So we're looking for maybe a Sunday night podcast and definitely something on Saturday. So if you got something streaming at that point in time, go try to go sign up for the Gonna Geek Network. That's gonnageek.com/join. Just want to say thank you very much to everybody that's listened to us, everybody that's watched us tonight on Blab, everybody that's caught us either on the Facebook live chat or the Blab live chat. We really appreciate you guys having around.
I want to thank everybody who follows us on Twitter, everybody who sends us news, everybody who follows along during the live tweet, and special thanks to the Comic Palooza podcast program for all the awesomeness that they have been able to hook us up with over these past several weeks. As we are recording, Comic Palooza is like officially 2 days away, but it starts for me tomorrow. And we will be getting you some really, really awesome content. So look forward to all that coming up.
Looking forward to that. Michelle, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you around. We're going to have to do this again before season 2 is out.
Thank you very much. I always enjoy stopping by, and thank you for not spoiling the season. And I would hope that perhaps in future podcasts you can,
we'll do
keep
our
the spoilers
best.
to minimal.
We'll do our best, that's for sure.
Like I said, I'm watching it 1 week at a time. It just sort of happened that way. So
yeah, summer is definitely catch up time until the sci-fi shows start next month. So I just
July 1st.
Yep. I just want to say that Haley usually promotes our giveaway. And right now what we're doing is we're giving away the Marvel Collector Core Crate Women of Power. I'm hoping to actually have that in studio next week so we can do an unboxing as we normally do. I had a great time tonight. Did you ladies have a great time?
I had an excellent time.
All right, let's do this again next week, Lauren.
Will do.
All right. Until next time, I'm Agent Stargate Pioneer.
I'm Agent Lauren.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all of our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofs.com where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at incompetech.com. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual host and do not represent Legends, Stream, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation. No infringement is intended.